My beloved child, listen closely because this message is not random, it is not coincidence, and it is not something you found by accident. This is a divine interruption meant to open your eyes to something your soul has already been feeling but your heart has been trying to ignore. There is someone in your life, someone you trust deeply, someone you have opened your heart to without hesitation, someone you believed would protect your name even when you were not present, but right now, behind your back, in conversations you cannot hear, in rooms you are not in. They are speaking about you in a way that would shake you if you heard it with your own ears, and I know this truth may sting. I know your first instinct is to deny it, to say, not them, to convince yourself that the bond you share is too strong to be broken by betrayal. But my beloved child, the signs have been around you for a while now. Subtle shifts in energy, moments where something felt off, words that didn't quite align with actions, and yet you chose peace over confrontation, you chose silence over suspicion, you chose to believe the best even when your intuition whispered warnings in the quiet of your mind, and now those whispers are getting louder. Now your spirit is uneasy for a reason, because truth has a way of rising, no matter how deeply it is buried, and what you are about to realize is not meant to break you, it is meant to free you. Because sometimes the greatest protection is not knowing who loves you, but knowing who pretends to, and right now there is a mask being worn around you, a smile that hides intentions, a voice that comforts you but criticizes you in your absence, and the hardest part is not the betrayal itself, it is the fact that it comes from someone you never expected, someone you defended, someone you trusted with your vulnerabilities. Someone who knows your story and still chooses to twist it when you are not there to speak for yourself. But listen carefully, this is not happening to destroy you, this is happening to reveal something that was never meant to stay hidden forever, because you are entering a season where your circle must become smaller but stronger, where your energy must be protected at all costs, where you can no longer afford to keep people close who secretly compete with you, envy you, or resent the light you carry. And yes, it may hurt to accept this truth. It may feel like a betrayal that cuts deeper than anything you have experienced before. But understand this, betrayal is often the final step before elevation. It is the moment when God removes the illusion so you can step into clarity, and clarity will always cost you comfort, because you cannot grow into the person you are meant to become while holding on to people who secretly wish for your downfall, and the one talking against you, the one planting seeds of doubt in others' minds about you, the one sharing your name in a negative light. They are not doing it because you are weak, they are doing it because you are powerful in ways they cannot control, because your presence shifts rooms, because your energy speaks even when you are silent, because there is something about you that they cannot imitate, and instead of celebrating that, they feel threatened by it, and rather than confronting their own insecurities, they project them onto you in conversations you are not a part of. And this is why you must not react with anger, you must not lower yourself to their level. Because the moment you respond emotionally, you give them the power they have been seeking, you confirm the image they are trying to paint of you. But when you remain calm, when you move in silence, when you allow truth to reveal itself without forcing it, you take back control, and you show the universe that you are ready to operate on a higher level, because not every betrayal requires confrontation. Some betrayals require distance. Some require observation, and some require you to simply step back and let people expose themselves over time, and trust me, they will, because people who talk behind your back cannot maintain their mask forever. Eventually their words will reach the wrong ears, eventually someone will question their intentions, eventually the truth will circle back to you in ways you did not expect, and when that moment comes, you will not feel anger, you will feel clarity. You will feel a sense of peace knowing that your intuition was right all along, and that you are not crazy for feeling the way you did, because your spirit always knows before your mind accepts it, and right now your spirit is trying to protect you. It is trying to guide you away from energy that does not align with your purpose. It is trying to show you that not everyone who smiles with you is happy for you. Not everyone who listens to you supports you, and not everyone who stands beside you stands for you. And this realization is not meant to make you paranoid, it is meant to make you wise, because wisdom is knowing who to trust, who to love from a distance, and who to completely release from your life. And I know letting go is not easy, especially when the person involved holds a significant place in your heart. But holding on to someone who secretly disrespects you is far more damaging than letting them go, because every time they speak against you, they chip away at your reputation. They create narratives that you are not there to defend, and they influence how others perceive you. And while you cannot control what people say about you, you can control who has access to your life. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is quietly remove yourself, not with drama, not with announcements, but with silent distance, because silence speaks louder than confrontation when it is backed by self-respect, and the moment you stop giving them access to your energy, your thoughts, your plans, and your vulnerabilities, you take away the very thing they were using against you. And suddenly their words lose power, suddenly their influence weakens, suddenly they are left with nothing but their own negativity, and you, my beloved child, you rise above it all, you step into a version of yourself that no longer seeks validation from people who cannot see your worth. You stop explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. And you begin to move with a quiet confidence that does not need approval, and this is where your power truly begins, not when everyone supports you, but when you learn to stand strong even when someone you trusted turns against you, because your strength is not defined by who stays, it is defined by how you grow when someone leaves or betrays you, and right now you are being called to grow, to evolve, to see people for who they truly are, not who you want them to be, and to understand that sometimes the person you trust the most is the very one you needed to learn a lesson from, not build a future with. And that lesson is not about becoming cold or closed off, it is about becoming discerning, it is about protecting your peace, your energy, and your purpose, because you have something ahead of you that requires focus, that requires clarity, that requires you to be surrounded by the right people, and this situation, as painful as it may be, is preparing you for that next level. It is clearing out what does not belong so that what is meant for you can find you without interference, and one day, you will look back on this moment not with pain, but with gratitude, because you will realize that what felt like betrayal was actually protection, what felt like loss was actually redirection, and what felt like heartbreak was actually the beginning of a stronger, wiser, more powerful version of yourself. And until that day comes, remember this: you do not need to prove your truth to anyone, you do not need to fight every battle. And you do not need to keep people in your life who cannot honor your presence. Because your value does not decrease based on someone else's inability to see it, and the one who is talking against you, they are only revealing who they truly are, while you are being guided toward who you are meant to become. So keep moving forward, keep trusting your intuition, keep protecting your energy, and most importantly, Keep believing that everything being revealed right now is happening for your highest good, even if it does not feel like it in this moment, because you are not being abandoned, you are being aligned, and this alignment will take you to places, people, and opportunities that are far greater than anything you are leaving behind. My beloved child, the moment you begin to accept what is happening instead of resisting it, something powerful shifts inside you, because denial keeps you trapped but awareness sets you free, and right now you are stepping into that awareness. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it challenges everything you believed about this person, because the truth is, betrayal rarely comes from enemies, it comes from those who had access to your heart, your trust, your story, and that is why it cuts so deeply, that is why it lingers in your thoughts, that is why you keep replaying moments in your mind trying to understand where things changed. But listen carefully, nothing suddenly changed, the signs were always there, they were just hidden beneath your loyalty, your kindness, and your willingness to see the good in someone who was quietly showing you their shadow. And now that shadow is becoming visible, now the truth is surfacing in ways you cannot ignore anymore, and you may feel the urge to confront them, to ask questions, to demand explanations, but ask yourself this: what will their words change if their actions have already revealed everything? Because people who speak against you behind your back rarely confess it to your face. They will deny, deflect, and manipulate the situation to make themselves appear innocent, and if you are not careful, you will end up questioning yourself instead of them, you will start doubting your intuition instead of trusting it, and that is exactly how they maintain control, by keeping you confused, by keeping you emotionally attached while they continue their behavior unnoticed. But you are no longer in that space, you are waking up, you are seeing clearly, and with that clarity comes responsibility. The responsibility to protect your peace, your reputation, and your energy. Because not everyone deserves access to your inner world, not everyone deserves to know your plans, your struggles, or your next move, and the more you share with someone who secretly speaks against you, the more material you give them to use in conversations that do not honor you. And this is why silence becomes your greatest strength in this season, not silence out of fear, but silence out of wisdom, silence that observes, that listens, that watches patterns instead of reacting to emotions. Because when you stop over-explaining yourself, when you stop seeking validation from the wrong people, you begin to see who truly respects you and who only pretends to, and there is a difference, a clear difference between those who uplift your name in your absence and those who diminish it, and the one you trusted the most, they have shown you which side they stand on, not through direct confrontation, but through consistent behavior that no longer aligns with the loyalty you once believed in. And I know part of you still wants to hold on, still wants to believe that maybe it is a misunderstanding, maybe they didn't mean it, maybe things can go back to how they were, but my beloved child, growth does not move backward, it moves forward, and sometimes moving forward means leaving people behind, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Because staying connected to someone who secretly disrespects you is a silent agreement to your own mistreatment, and you are not meant to live like that. You are not meant to constantly question your worth based on someone else's hidden actions. You are meant to stand in your truth, in your value, in your power, and that power increases the moment you stop tolerating what you know is not right. And here is something you must understand deeply: the way people speak about you when you are not around says more about their character than it ever will about yours. Because your reputation is not built on rumors, It is built on consistency, on actions, on the way you treat others even when you gain nothing from it, and while they may try to twist your story, they cannot rewrite your truth, because truth has a way of revealing itself over time, and those who truly see you, those who truly understand your heart, they will not be easily influenced by someone else's negative words, and those who do believe it without question were never truly aligned with you to begin with. So do not waste your energy trying to control narratives that were never yours to manage. Instead, focus on your growth, your peace, your purpose, because that is where your real power lies, and the more you elevate, the more obvious it becomes who belongs in your life and who does not, because not everyone can rise with you, not everyone can handle your growth, and sometimes the very people you trusted feel left behind not because you abandoned them, but because you outgrew the version of yourself that tolerated their behavior, and instead of growing with you, they choose to speak against you to justify their own stagnation, and that is not your burden to carry, that is their limitation to face, and you must release the need to fix it, to explain it, or to change it, because people who are committed to misunderstanding you will always find a reason to do so, no matter how clearly you communicate, no matter how much you prove yourself, and once you accept that, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to be understood by those who have already decided who they think you are, and in that freedom, you find peace, a deep, unshakable peace that does not depend on anyone's opinion of you. And from that place, you begin to move differently, you become more selective with your words, more intentional with your energy, more protective of your time, and these changes will not go unnoticed. The same person who once had easy access to you will start to feel the distance. They will notice that you are no longer as open, no longer as available, no longer as vulnerable, and they may question it. They may even try to pull you back into the old dynamic, but you must remain strong, because going back to what hurt you will only delay your growth, and you have come too far to return to a place that no longer serves you, and as you continue this journey, you will begin to attract different people, people who respect you, who honor you, who speak highly of you even when you are not present, and at first it may feel unfamiliar, because you have been used to a different kind of energy, but this is the alignment you have been moving toward, this is the circle you deserve. And it only becomes possible when you release those who cannot meet you at that level, and yes, there may be moments where you feel alone, where you question if you made the right decision, but loneliness in growth is temporary, while staying in the wrong environment is permanent damage, so choose temporary discomfort over long-term betrayal, choose growth over familiarity. Choose yourself over those who chose to speak against you, because at the end of the day, the relationship you have with yourself sets the standard for every other relationship in your life, and when you honor yourself, when you respect your boundaries, when you listen to your intuition, you create a life where betrayal no longer has a place, not because people stop being who they are, but because you become wise enough to recognize it early and walk away without hesitation, and that is the level you are stepping into now, a level where you no longer ignore red flags, where you no longer excuse disrespect, where you no longer stay silent just to keep the peace, because real peace does not come from avoiding conflict, it comes from aligning with truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable, and right now, the truth is setting you free, even if it does not feel like freedom yet, even if it feels like loss, confusion, or disappointment, because sometimes freedom begins with a breaking point, a moment where you can no longer pretend that everything is okay. A moment where you finally choose yourself over the illusion of a relationship that was never as genuine as you believed. And from that moment forward, everything changes, your mindset shifts, your energy shifts, your path shifts, and slowly but surely, you begin to rebuild, not the same version of your life, but a stronger, wiser, more aligned version, one where trust is earned, not given blindly, one where loyalty is mutual, not one-sided, and one where your peace is no longer negotiable. And as you continue to rise, remember this. The person who talked against you did not diminish your value, they revealed their own, and in doing so, they unknowingly pushed you toward a higher version of yourself, a version that no longer settles for less than what it deserves, a version that understands that not every connection is meant to last, and a version that knows its worth, protects its energy, and moves forward without looking back. My beloved child, now you see everything clearly and there is no more confusion left in your heart. Only truth that may feel heavy but will ultimately make you stronger, because the one who spoke against you has already played their role in your journey, and now it is time for you to step into your next chapter without carrying their energy any further. You are not here to chase explanations or fix broken loyalty. You are here to rise above it with quiet strength and unshakable self-respect. And as you move forward, you will realize that losing the wrong people is not a loss but a divine protection that clears your path for something far greater. So do not look back with anger but with understanding that everything revealed was necessary for your growth. Keep your circle small, your intentions pure, and your focus strong, because not everyone deserves access to the new version of you. Trust your intuition more than ever now, because it has proven that it was always guiding you in the right direction. And remember that those who truly value you will never need to be questioned or doubted. They will show it in their actions consistently. You are entering a phase where your peace matters more than any relationship that disturbs it, so protect it at all costs without guilt or hesitation. And even if it feels lonely at times, remind yourself that solitude builds strength while wrong company destroys it. You have survived the truth, and now you are ready to live in it fully without fear. And in the end, you will not be defined by who betrayed you but by how powerfully you chose to rise above it and become the version of yourself that no longer tolerates anything less than real loyalty.